Hey, this is Notser, and we're talking submarines and aircraft carriers today. Game in the background is myself in the Tier 10 German battleship Kurfurst. We are on the map Tears of the Desert. This is a secondary build. I'm using 420mm guns. It does have my own flare. I am picking concealment as my third level 4 trait. Hopefully you enjoy. It is a fantastic game. But let's talk about submarines because that's probably the biggest topic, and then we'll touch on the carrier stuff. Submarines in World of Warships. They said, no, we'll never do that. Multiple interviews, Q&A, but yet here we are. They released gameplay for the Halloween event, and it's quite clear it's going to be a submarine-dedicated Halloween event, and that looks awesome. Can't wait to play it. But the real question is, why did they change their mind? They seemed pretty adamant that they would never do this. And probably the simplest answer is gaming as a service. They are using terminology that isn't appropriate for a service design. Because what they've done is they've tried to bring in a regular life cycle release of a game and use that sort of terminology and say stuff like there's no plans in the foreseeable future to release this. We don't ever envision a world where it would be appropriate to bring it in, but clearly that's completely ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous thing that any gameplay developer could ever say. And if you ever see them say something like that, you need to question the genuineness of that statement, because you can't make a broad statement like that. If you plan to have this game exist for the foreseeable future, clearly, there's going to always be a conversation on whether we should invest enough money, resources to bring something like this into the game just to attract people for maybe a mini game. Anything can be on the table. Look at World of Warcraft. It's got pet battles, basically Pokemon battles. Where does that fit in the World of Warcraft universe? It doesn't fit at all. But they took advantage of a system that already existed, just gathering pets, and they wanted to add more value to that specific system, and people enjoy that. That's what submarines represent to me. Submarines represent something that was clearly an important part of naval combat. Now, whether it be active combat or more like convoy raiding, we can get an operation out of this. Very easily get an operation for submarine combat, and that's great. If they invest all this time for the Halloween, and the only thing we get out of it is an operation, well then, 100% success. They literally can't lose here. Everyone will appreciate and enjoy a submarine operation. It's absolutely naval warfare. It absolutely fits with the scenarios, and we need Germans as a good guy. Come on, just give them a Wolfpack scenario. It's perfect for them, and I would love it to bits. But clearly, that is not the end goal. The end goal is, if this gameplay is successful, we will bring it into the base game. We will develop systems around, a dedicated line. Where does a subline start? Does it start at Tier 5? Does it start at Tier 4 like the CVs? Tier 3? Tier 2? Do you have a sub from the very beginning? We don't know that yet. I don't even know that Wargaming knows that yet. But there's absolutely a lot of content there if it is successful enough to implement in the base game, and the only reason I would allow that is if the gameplay was compelling and fun. That has to be the first priority. We can't have another RTS CV Wargaming. We can't bring something in and then have to majorly change it 2 years down the road. We can't do that. We need to bring it in and have a really good understanding of how that gameplay is set up and going to be successful. If we have to make a giant change, well, maybe we don't bring it in right away. Maybe we just do scenarios and we just, have the game improved from a CV standpoint. Obviously, this was going to bring in a whole new level of balance that we have to consider. The gameplay that they showed off, basically, it's a Halloween scenario. You're taking damage from catapults, and you're having to sink slow ships and faster ships, and then things that are hunting you. You can go in and out of water. You have an oxygen bar. It seems that the oxygen bar can be replenished on the surface and obviously can't underwater. So they've already thought about what is going to encourage you to be on the surface. That's great. We need that. because we need something that encourages the submarine to interact with others rather than just, silently sail under the ocean for the entire duration of the game. That's not compelling gameplay at all. So that was cool. And then forward launching torpedoes, rear launching torpedoes. I always liked this existence for the Germans, but it doesn't go past, I think, Tier 4. The fact that you could aim your ship at a target and torpedo them was really interesting. And that is, of course, a submarine. Submarines do just that. And I think that is unique enough that the player base would be interested in something like that. Now, does it ultimately work out? Who's to say? But I was envisioning a scenario very similar to what we're used to. We've got Des Moines camping on the corner. We've got battleships in the background. We've got DDs fighting, knife fighting. What if a submarine could sail underwater and, well, the submarine sails to a point where they feel like they can perform this action with enough oxygen in their tank, because that is something you need to consider. It takes about, a minute to use up your oxygen. But let's say, for a scenario comparison, we've got a Des Moines that's camping on that corner. What is really the solution for the Des Moines, right? There really isn't a good solution for the Des Moines. You've basically got to risk your ship as the DD to maneuver the guy out of the area. Ships like the Worcester, they're even worse. It just... having better concealment than the range of radar makes it absolutely brutal to deal with. But what if submarines were immune to that effect? Whenever they were underwater, maybe they could make a play, and these players would feel like, I know everything, nothing is close, and then ambush. I was envisioning islands of ice where we've got sort of glacier just structures where the submarine could actually sail underneath it. Wouldn't that look so cool to see the underbelly of a glacier and to use that to ambush something like a camping Des Moines that has been using that same glacier or a glacier nearby or even an island to shell your teammates and use radar to detect your teammates? Wouldn't it be cool if a submarine could offer something that counters that gameplay specifically, but it doesn't ruin the game? It just makes players who refuse to be more active to watch their back, because if you're not aware, you might be being ambushed as we speak. DDs can already do this, but it's much harder for a DD to scout something like the Worcester and not be under the same threat. So it would be cool if there was a design that sort of countered, regardless of what this ship thinks, countered very hard the camping meta that has developed so prevalent everywhere, even long range. If they have no interest in radaring a ship, they're still going to try and camp. We got to get rid of that. And I don't know that can ever be gotten rid of, especially if they keep submarines super slow. But the play exists in my mind. I do believe that we can get somewhere close to that, and that is unique and compelling gameplay to me. I want to experience that because I think that would be really fun in a competitive gameplay. I love that World of Warships is offering unique experiences through the types of ships you can control. I think they do a great job with that. I think they do a far better job than the other wargaming products at implementing that sort of varied but balanced design for all the classes. I really appreciate that, and I'm hoping that the aircraft carrier rework reintroduces them and we can have 4 different types all going at it, all enjoying each other, and maybe we bring in a 5th with a submarine, and I think that would be absolutely wonderful. I love playing them all. I wish I could love playing the RTS aircraft carrier more, but I just really hate buggy UI, and until that is aligned more with the general gameplay, they basically needed a dedicated UI developer just for the RTS implementation, and it just never came to fruition. But with the submarine, it's very similar to that 3D verticality that the aircraft carrier gameplay is going to implement. They should work off each other very well. Obviously, it's different still. You've You've got the underwater aspects, you've got the ambush aspects, you've got the sub aspects. You know, how much are they going to bring in? Are they going to bring in unique consumables, unique sounds? I have no idea. I'm just dreaming of the possibilities, and I'm really excited. I really think if it can be done well, it can be compelling, and people will enjoy it. Obviously, I don't want it to take away from this. I want it to be something that is just added and enhanced and considered. And I'll make my final judgment once I've actually played the gameplay in the Halloween event. And Wargaming, keep doing it like this. You guys absolutely nail it. Trying new gameplay with Halloween and April Fools is absolutely the best, easiest way to do it. I love that. Keep it up. I have no problem whatsoever with their Halloween events. They do a great job with that. Same with April Fools. Just keep it up. It's a great way to experience the game in a slightly different way, and maybe it brings something to the base game that we didn't know we wanted, but now we do. I can't wait. I can't wait to try it. And Wargaming, great job. I know you guys, great job. Absolutely great job. You keep creating great content, and I'm very happy to be associated with you guys. So keep it up. Now, speaking of great content, let's talk about the aircraft carrier. They showed off a full game, a co-op game, against bots, and we got to see everything. We got to see the flak, the AA visuals, the aircraft taking damage, the different states of the aircraft, and them actually trying to attack something that is definitely not interested in taking damage. Full marks across the board from this standpoint, Wargaming. Such a better way of displaying the gameplay to me, because it doesn't feel fake. It feels very real, and that realness looks awesome. I love the way that you can just appreciate the ships and the aircraft and the combat so much more than you could with the old carrier design. This is fun to just watch, to enjoy, and that's great for me. And this is the selfish part of it, but people will watch carrier gameplay far more than they would ever watch the other carrier gameplay. A casual fan of World of Warships will watch this, absolutely. Or a casual fan of just multiplayer games, absolutely will watch this. RTS is a lot harder to watch because you can't see all of the actions on screen. A lot of those actions occur off screen, and that's kind of confusing for people who aren't, invested in the RTS design. But that doesn't happen here. You don't have 3 or 4 squadrons off doing other things. That doesn't exist. You've got one squadron. It's focused on its one objective, whatever that happens to be, torpedoing, diving with bombs or rockets. It looks great visually, very natural point of view. The animation's very awesome. I just think that visually this is far more compelling gameplay for me to share on my channel. So from a purely selfish standpoint, I think people are more interested in watching this than the previous version. I find that with RTS design, sometimes actions occur off-screen, and that's kind of confusing for people because they can't appreciate that. And unless you understand what actions are available to take off-screen, you're not really going to know what actions occurred. So it's one of those issues that has always existed with RTS, and that's completely alleviated here. You see what's happening. All of the ships know that this is happening, and the AA is far more compelling visually because of that. I just think that it looks great, the flak, and obviously the tracer rounds. I love how the animation looks when it's attacking. I think that's great. The UI looks fantastic. I've got a couple concerns though, Wargaming. I don't really see a lot of consumables that you make use of. Is that something that's going away with the carrier? Are you going to completely remove consumables as a consideration for the aircraft, or are these skills that you're showing off, are they consumables that have been developed just for this new carrier gameplay? I'm leaning towards these are going to be consumables, and they're going to be available for premium and non-premium. I think that is just a part of the design, and that's cool. That's okay. I don't have an issue with that. I'm just curious what you're thinking, Wargaming. Do you feel like the old consumable design just doesn't make sense for the carrier? Is defensive fire gone for the carrier? It's very odd that the carrier is so disconnected, but then I think about it and I go, well, you have infinite aircraft. There needs to be some vulnerability offered to you. And that seems to be in the form of your carrier just feels very disconnected from your action. And you know what? That makes sense. But I don't know that that's completely obvious to the player base. So I think wargaming, the best way you can explain this is just talk about freely what you're trying to make into this system. You know, there's clearly vulnerabilities that exist with every ship. You've got battleships that are just giant, easily seen. They take tons of torpedo damage. You've got cruisers who are easily one-shot if a battleship dare looks at them. And then you've got destroyers that, if they are under a lot of fire, they're gone. And if they're seen, people are shooting them. So what is the vulnerability here? Is it that the squadrons die and you have to pick up another one? I mean, that doesn't really seem like a very vulnerable aspect when you have, you know, completely unlimited aircraft. It makes sense to me to interpret that the carrier is the vulnerability. It needs to operate close enough that the squadrons can get back and forward fast, but far enough away that you're not taking damage, so that might be something you have to consider the entire time. Either way, it looks great. Can't wait to play it. I'm excited for the Halloween subs. I love Halloween, and I love the event, so if it's awesome, compelling gameplay, yeah, sure, bring it in the game. No big deal. If it sucks, well, it was a Halloween event, right? That's the worst that could happen. So I'm very excited for all of this wargaming. You're doing a fantastic job. I love that you're making the game that I invested so much time in even better. That's so awesome. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.